All right, hopefully you can hear me all right. I wanted to do a unboxing of something that I'm really excited about. I've seen a couple videos about it, some comments about it. I think OK Garage does an install on it, which I'll do the same just because. But I've been looking and watching and trying to find a good price, and we're gonna open it together. I don't know if it's used or not. It's very hard to tell by the description, although the photos look like it's never been used. I did buy this one through the BOV and not 500 yen for no other reason. I wanted to just try something different, see how their process worked. I will say the process through 500 yen was awesome. The difference is you kind of like deposit money in and then they pull from it, and if I remember correctly, BOV was a little different where they just sent you an invoice and you paid it. But it was very simple. Like I think I got this, I won the auction, and I mean, I want to say within 2 days they had it at their warehouse, and maybe a week later it showed up. I used the Japan Post, and it was surprisingly quick, like a week and a half at best from order to receipt. So keep in mind, it's not terrible. The thing that's tricky about it all is if you go through the experiences, it really comes down to making sure that the buy price on top of the fees, on top of the shipping cost, is still worth it to you. It does add up. But when I looked at this all in, and I initially thought they were harder to find than they are, because I heard, I think it was OK Garage that said way before the fame told them, like, if you find one, grab it. But what I've seen is like they are pretty available. If you're really looking, like they seem to show up. I mean, I think I've almost always seen one in the auction in some form. So let me try to get this out of here in a way that will allow you to see exactly what it is and why I'm so excited about it. And it's gonna make me change some work I've already done, which I don't care, because this is gonna be even better. There's a lot of bubble wrap, and it does look brand new. It does not look used, which is great, which is what I figured. But you never know from the auctions. It talks about there may be scratches and dirt, and and I'm sure that's just a way for them to cover themselves for whatever reason. But all right, this is what I ordered. I can get it out of here. Hold on, sorry. I'm really not trying to do this anticipation thing. I'm really trying to get it out, but I got the HKS, I think it is. Yeah. Intake with the integrated blow off. So, I mean, that is pretty killer. And it is, I mean, I'm so excited to get this installed. It's got the blow off valve right here already built in. So I'll have to pull off my other blow off valve, which is fine. No big deal. But this is pretty sweet. And then it has this other, my knife. Other hose, line, whatever, that goes between, I don't know how to explain it, but just another piece. So that goes, I can walk over and show you, but yeah, I will say the downside to ordering from BOV versus 500 yen. 500 yen sends you some fun Japanese food in the box. I think my other box I got these really crazy delicious pretzel sticks. They look like normal, kind of thin pretzel rods, but man, they have some kind of like, I think it was, they called it salted butter or something, and they were so good. And then a package of they're called high chews. They're kind of like Starbursts. But yeah, so this is my next install. It's all in. I think I got the auction for I bid on it at first and waited for the auction, and it was like a day left, and it was slowly creeping up, and I think it was sitting at about $150. And then I knew I was going to be out of town. I was going to probably miss the end of the auction, so I just sucked it up and paid the buy it now price. Buy it now price was, I think, was $240 for all of this. And then I think all the fees, if I remember correctly, so the fees to ship it from the seller to the warehouse to buy, and then their fees, and then the fee to ship it to me, I want to say it was an additional $80. So, you know, $320, is that my math right? No. Yeah, ish, $330 all in for this. Like, it's a little pricey, but I think it's going to be worth it. I don't know what this bag of stuff is. There's no install instructions, which you could argue is a downside. Got some zip ties. I think this is I don't know, it's a rubber cap, and I'm not sure what for. Bolt. I'm sure the bolt, but there's bolts on this too. I don't know. I'm sure once I kind of drop it in, it'll start to make sense. But yeah, this is I'm gonna kind of turn you off and move you and start removing stuff, and we'll get it installed, and then we'll see how it sounds and looks and how simple it is to do the install. I have a feeling it'll be pretty straightforward. Like, it's nice they've got all the clamps that, you know, don't need to be removed, already tightened. So all I really need to do is, you know, tighten the clamp on this end, and then for this, and then I believe where the old intake air box is, this is where this will go there, mount somewhere in there. I've looked at OK Garage's video, and you know, he kind of shows that his is a little different with mine. I've got the auto locking hubs. I don't think his had that version. Maybe it did, and so I'm a little concerned about room, but it said it'll fit. So yeah, we're gonna go through the process, get this installed. I'll take you along with me, and we'll see how it turns out. Thanks. So I'm just removing this big hose. I've had it off before when I installed my catch can, or not my catch can, my blow off valve. So just taking it back off again, because I'm not going to need it on this new setup. And there goes my clamp. Got a zip tie. My fancy way of holding on the catch can. Oh gosh, I keep saying catch can. Anyway, my blow off valve. So just taking that off, getting this old piece off here. And now we're going to take off my blow off valve that I installed. Although we can get this off too. I think I might have to loosen up the I don't know what you call that. The intake? No. Airbox? No. I don't know. Whatever that is. I know there's a name for it. You're all gonna laugh at me for not knowing what it is, but need to get that off. I'm also putting on some gloves because I always regret it later when my hands get dirty. So I know they're already a little dirty, but this is gonna prevent me from making it worse. All right. I'm using screwdrivers for these. I probably should get a wrench. Be a little easier, or what am I looking at? Oh, it's on that side. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to reach that one so easily. But I can get this one. And I can get this one. That one's flat. I got a mix of flathead and Phillips head, which is not great. different sizes. No big deal, just gets a little annoying. That's off. That's off. There's the old blow-off valve. It worked out pretty well. Those, if you watched my video, the hoses I bought really worked out for the turns. But if you're interested in this, I'm happy to sell it to you. Let me know. It's just gonna sit on the shelf otherwise. I need to figure out how to get this air box off. It looks like there's a couple bolts down here that'll take this off. Pretty easy. Just gotta find the right size. I'm never right in the first go. And I'm not right this time. Let's see, second time. Yes, they're 12 millimeter. I assume they'll pop right off pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Second one. Assume it'll be just as easy. So it's a nut and a washer. And then on the top, this should just lift out now. Be careful because there's bushings and washers. There's another hose over here. I got to figure out what that is. And these are the bushings that are on this side, or not bushings, but kind of weird washers, inserts. And there's actual rubber bushings. I'm actually going to leave the rubber bushings on and see. But there's this hose on the end. And I think that just dumps out the, I don't know where that even went. It's just tucked in there, I guess. Anyway, so that opens up all that space. So not bad. I'm gonna try to wipe this down while I've got access to it. Need to be perfect, but it's, you know, ready. You can see, I don't know if you can see in the photo, but or in the video, but this color here, I know it probably looks a little black in the video, but it's actually the emerald green color. It's the original color of the car before it was painted this sandstorm yellow, or what everybody else calls it as gold. But yeah, kind of neat to see. If you look at the Jimnyland specs, I plan on doing a video on how Jimnyland works overall. One of the options you can purchase from them when you're getting it painted is to also paint the under the, you know, in the engine bay. I'm obviously the person that spec'd it with Jimnyland did not choose that option because this one does not have it, which is no big deal. Doesn't bother me. I just find it interesting that, you know, it's an option that you can choose from. I'm gonna grab a stubby screwdriver. It'll be easier to get to this one. This blue hose here, I installed with my blow-off valve. This kit comes with a new one. It looks exactly the same, so I'm not gonna bother unhooking it, and I'll just reuse it since it's already on. And it's running. I also have my boost gauge connected to it. So here's that. So instead of having to disconnect all that stuff, I figure, why not? Again, there's some parts that came with this. There's a bolt. We'll see. I'm not exactly sure where that's going to go because the bracket already has bolts on it. Some zip ties. I'm assuming that's just for the hose that runs. And then this rubber looks like what goes on the bottom of a walker or something. It's a rubber foot. Also not sure what that's for. So maybe once we kind of get this installed, we'll know where this stuff goes, or maybe it's dependent on other things. But yeah, anyway, everything's off. Now we're gonna figure out how it goes back on. Again, I think the part that goes here, I'm probably gonna have to loosen this up to be able to just get the hose down there. I don't think I'm gonna be able to squeeze it on there as it is. But this is this piece. Maybe I will, I don't know, we'll see. But this just slides on this end, and this I have to figure out this bracket here, slides over that end, and then I assume I can just spin that around and use that as, and there is another hole over here. Maybe that's what I use. Yeah, that looks like I just use this. There's a hole right here that's already on the car. I bet I can just put the screw on the back side of that, and that'll make it really sturdy. So let's do that. I'll see how many times I drop the screw back there, since it is a little snug. And I'm trying to figure out, it's got a lock washer and a regular washer on it. This hole looks like it's the right size without needing the washer on the back side, because it's got one of the wider flange nuts. All right, this is gonna be the tricky part. I might block your view, so I'm sorry in advance. Got it. That was a little tricky to get in there, but I got it. So now I just need to tighten that, and that's certainly not going to be a 13. Let's see, again, never on the first try. Oh, I got it on the first try. That's an 8. Look at that. Nice and snug. Fits great. Even with this, so this is the, I can't really see it in the video, but this is the contraption that powers my auto locking hubs. So that might be different for you if you have manual locking hubs. And I will say it is kind of, I don't think it matters, but it sits a little bit against these ports here. I don't think it's hurting anything. Looks like I can lift this up a little bit and get it a little bit more out of the way based on the bracket. As long as there's no, yeah, there's plenty of room in there for the hood to close. All right, well, let's get these tightened up. So we'll do this bottom one first. Again, I never know if I should grab a socket for these clamps or just use the screwdriver. The problem with the socket is I feel like more often than not, I strip out the clamps by over tightening because it's so easy to do with when you use a socket versus, or a ratchet versus a screwdriver. So trying to avoid that. Let's get it nice and tight enough. That side's tight. And then just get this one back here. And that's nice and tight. That's nice and tight. I love how they've got that clamp. It's literally right on the edge. Just slide it down a hair. Oh, I don't know. They've got it on there. It's not coming out. They're all pretty tight. Just double checking everything. Make sure that they've got them all snug, and they definitely do, which is great. And they've done a nice job of, as you install, they've got all of the clamps that, even though they're tight and you don't really need to do anything with them, they've got them all angled where they're easy to get to, so they're not like on the bottom where you can't get to them or whatever. So nice job with that. I need to loosen up this just a hair so I can get this hose on there. So I'm just going to do that real quick. Should be probably one of my existing socket sizes, but that'd be nice. Let's see if the 12 is the right size. Nope, of course not. Let's see if, I think the 8's going to be too small. Yeah, of course. It's going to be probably a 10. It is. So these just really loosen up really easily. And all accessible. There's 3 bolts that hold this on. I loosened it up before when I replaced my spark plugs just to get to that back plug. It's a little tricky back there. Yeah, simple enough. Well, there's one. There's 2. And this one right here has a little bracket that's on there can see it in there, but it's to hold that hose in place. So it's one of the clips for the hose. And then it literally just kind of just lifts up. I don't need to move it too far. There is the other hose that's connected to it, so it's not going to come right off. But it gives me enough, it'll give me enough room to slide this on just like that. And again, they do a nice job of keeping all of these turned in a way where they're super accessible. So you're not messing with spinning them around and trying to get access to them. I just gotta put these bolts back in. Sometimes easier said than done. I'm not sure why I can't find that. What am I missing? There we go. Okay. Like the hand tighten them a little bit so I've got room to wiggle it around to make sure you can find the holes again, because they're not. There we go. Probably should have my Milwaukee ratchet. Make some of this a little faster, but sometimes I don't love the torque that comes off that thing when I'm doing stuff like this. So I'm gonna just try to play it safe. That's back on there. Sorry if I'm blocking the camera, but nothing too exciting to see here. Hopefully when you're watching this, I've edited or at least fast forwarded through some of the dull parts for you. That would be nice of me anyway. We'll see how lazy I am in my editing. But it's already, I mean, this video is already 21 minutes. And that's not counting the opening that I filmed. So I'll definitely probably be editing some of this stuff out. So don't you worry. Although you won't be, because I'll have already done that part. All right, so that's back in there. Tighten these two clamps up. Start with this one, and I always like to try to make sure I turn them in a way that's easy for me to get to them too, so if I ever need to remove it, I'm not struggling to reach or whatever. So it's a good practice to think about that stuff before you install. But anything really. Think about future you, and if you ever have to take it off, adjust whatever, that you're making it easier for you to get to it. So this one down here, because of where it is, I'll turn it a little bit out so I can get from it from this angle. Simple enough. Sometimes you gotta hold it because as you're tightening it wants to move until it gets tight enough. All right, let's get nice and tight. Good. That's tight. Let's double check my work. That's tight. the one down here, just the one, I've already checked the ones that they tightened, so I'm just double checking mine. Again, make them pretty snug, but just know that you can strip these clamps out if you over tighten them, so just be careful. All right, I think that's, well, nope, it's not it. Almost forgot. So they give me this. I think I will remove mine because they've got their end zip tied on and I don't. So instead of cutting off their zip tie and dealing with that, it's that easy for me to remove mine. So get my snips, cut these little tags off. And then reuse these clips that they give that are already on. There's one there, there's one in the back. There's one that goes under the back side of this. And pull out any slack that you don't want in there. Make sure there's no kinks or hard turns in that hose. Oh, where's my clip? Why isn't it clip into that? There it is. There we go. And then I'll go back onto my little T down here. We'll see. I might throw a zip tie on that too. Just because, you know, you do get a lot of buildup on these things. It's boost for a reason, right? So I'll do that. They give you zip ties. I might as well use them. They've already got a zip tied onto the blow-off valve end. And they give you nice matching zip ties too, those blue ones. So I'll throw a blue zip tie on that other end just to make sure. Protection. No need to have it blow off or in the middle of a drive. I'm not sure if you've had that happen because I have. When I was kind of messing with this blow-off valve and trying to figure this stuff out, I did not zip tie it on, and out of nowhere, I lost boost, lost turbo, lost everything. And you think it's not powerful and fast with turbo? Try driving it without. Not great. Fortunately, I was just on my road, so I was able to turn around, come home, fix it. But anyway, that's it. That should be it. Installed. So let's start this thing up. Hopefully you don't fall off from where I've got you mounted. And we'll go. We'll see. Here goes. Let it warm up for a second. A better view. So there's where I have mine teed off for the boost gauge. You can see I put the little zip tie on the end of it. So yeah, that's super clean, very simple. I think it looks pretty awesome. Let's see if you can hear the blow off. There it is. It's in there. All right, I think that's it. I'll take it out for a drive and see how it feels. I don't anticipate, you know, any kind of, as much as I love it, horsepower boost. It's a cool little thing to have. It's a super clean mount. It looks nice, I think. They do sell, I did see when I was looking, just kind of browsing the auctions, they do have, I think I saw a red one, if you don't like the blue hoses. And they might have, if I remember correctly, they may have a black one too, which is what I wish I would have got, but I was so anxious when I saw it posted that I snagged it. And my next is I want to buy the matching for this. So they have a canister that goes here and then the part that comes back to this. That's my next purchase. I think that goes for about 150 before all the fees. So no rush. This wasn't expensive enough. But that's probably my next addition. So yeah, we're at 30 minutes. If you've come this far, my goodness, thank you. If not, and you're not seeing this, then it doesn't matter, but I understand. My next, I've got a couple other videos coming. But I'll edit this down. Hopefully, if you did get this far, and I'm saying it's 30 minutes, hopefully it's not 30 minutes. And I'll speed up I will have sped up a lot of the install process to make it shorter. But as an update, I don't know, I don't know what order this stuff is coming out, but I've got a really cool video that I'm working on for a backlit LED logo for the grill, which I'll get that video out and show, or it might already be out. I don't know what order I'm going to do this stuff in, but it's pretty neat. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm printing a new version now to fix it. But anyway, watch that video. I won't bore you again with the details. But here's this old airbox. You can kind of see the hoses. This hose is in there. Because it's already got supposedly already has its own version of a blow-off valve in there. But yeah, I've got all these parts now that I don't need. This is my pile of Jimny stuff that I've collected in some form since I got this I think we're 2 months. Stuff I've either replaced, mostly replaced, or just leftover parts from stuff. You can see like these are the old door rubber moldings. These grab bar clamp cup holders came with it, which I don't use because, if you know my videos, you know that I've made my own that I actually love a lot more. Oh, this isn't bad. It's just so small. I don't know if you're going to fit in there. Maybe it can. I do have some oil filters and oil that I need to. That's one of my next things. I got to get the oil changed on this. I know it was done fairly recently. I think before it was shipped over. But I know these things are super sensitive, so I want to get it changed. So that might be maybe tomorrow morning I'll get up and do that. And I also need to get the rear brakes done. So I showed that in my brake video that just came out. But I've got the rear brakes here. I don't love doing shoes. Pads are easy. Shoes can be annoying. But I'm going to do it and get that done. And I've got a few other ideas for videos that I'll film. Like I said, if you're interested in this blow-off valve, I'll sell it really cheap, plus shipping, if you want it. I have links on my website for the one that I bought. So, I'll give you a deal on it since I've used it, but I don't want to sit here going to waste if you're interested. But that's it. Love, love, love that I got that, ordered that. I know it's a lot of money, but it's nice. It's pretty cool. I'm happy with it. All right. Once again, I'm rambling, so I'll leave you at that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks so much. All right, I'm out driving, a little test drive now that I've got this installed. I'll put the window up and maybe a little quieter. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's definitely not as loud as the one I had in, the blow-off valve that I had in here. But it works really well for what it is. Like, you can still hear it. It's not nearly as loud, but it's there. The boost is all reading the same. But yeah, I'm not sure you'll notice a massive difference in how it drives. But my hope is that, if it adds a little longevity to the turbo, or at least makes me feel like it will, I'll take it. But yeah, I just wanted to show you real quick, out for a drive. Of course, as I go to record, I hit a red light, but it's yeah, I'd love a little extra power off the line before the turbo kicks in. That's probably the biggest opportunity in my mind for this. I think for cruising, it's great. But, you know, it kicks in pretty quick. Maybe a little faster than it was before. I don't know. You know how it works when you change something. You think you feel stuff when you don't. But, yeah, you can see the turbo is, you know, sitting at 10 PSI right now while I accelerate and let off. And it releases. And then as I cruise, you know, it kind of moves around. But, yeah, that's it. Anyway, just wanted to show you real quick.